Admiral Ha-Jin Kim stood at the large window of the hidden space station, watching the stars through the thick glass. His hands were pressed against the cold metal rail as he stared at the distant flashes of light. Each flash meant another world was dying. Another planet full of innocent people was being destroyed by the Vextar. The Vextar were like giant space bugs that ate everything. They moved from planet to planet like hungry wolves, consuming entire civilizations in just days. They turned living beings into food and used their technology to make themselves stronger. No one in the galaxy could stop them. "Sir, we got another emergency call from the Kepler system," said Lieutenant Minho Park. He was young, only 26 years old, but his voice sounded tired and sad. For 3 years, he had been watching alien worlds burn while humans stayed, hidden in the darkness. Ha-Jin did not move from the window. His gray hair reflected the distant explosions on the glass. He was 55 years old and had spent most of his life keeping humanity secret from the rest of the galaxy. "What does Earth Command say?" he asked. "Same thing as always, Admiral. Stay quiet. Don't let anyone know we exist. Protect human interests only." Behind them, Dr. Soo-Jin Lee looked up from her computer screen. She was studying reports about alien biology and technology. For 8 years, she had been living among the Federation aliens, pretending to be a refugee from a destroyed world. No one knew she was really human. "The Vextar are not just eating everything," she said quietly. "They are learning, getting smarter. They will reach the main Federation worlds in 3 months. Ha-Jin closed his eyes for a moment. Earth's leaders were scared. Hundreds of years ago, humans had tried to make contact with aliens for the first time. It had gone very badly. The aliens had almost destroyed Earth completely. Since then, humans had decided to stay hidden and watch from far away. "Sir?" Minho's voice cracked like he might cry. "The ships carrying children from Kepler 7, they didn't escape. The Vextar got them all." Ha-Jin felt his heart grow heavy. He turned around and looked at his small crew. These people had volunteered to spend their lives in secret, watching terrible things happen without being able to help. They had families back on Earth who thought they were dead. They had given up everything to be humanity's hidden eyes and ears. Dr. Soo-Jin stood up from her desk. Her dark eyes were full of pain. "I've been living with them for 8 years, she said. "The aliens. They have children too. They love their families, just like we do. They're not so different from us." Minho walked over to another computer and pulled up a star map. Red dots showed where Vextar attacks had happened. The red was spreading like a disease across the galaxy. "The Zephyrians tried everything," he said. "Their energy shields were the strongest in the galaxy. Didn't matter. The Vextar just absorbed the energy and used it to grow bigger." Ha-Jin remembered the reports about the Zephyrians. They were made of living crystal and could create force fields that could stop anything. But the Vextar had found a way to eat. Even that, nothing seemed to work against them. "What about the Aldari?" asked Dr. Soo-Jin. "They can read minds and talk to each other across space." "The Vextar are using that against them," Minho replied. "They're turning the mind networks into feeding tubes. The Aldari are being forced to help the Vextar find new victims." Ha-Jin walked to the center of the room where a large table showed a hologram of the galaxy. 12 small blue dots floated in the darkness near their hidden station. Each dot was a human warship using advanced stealth technology. Ships that were invisible to alien sensors. Ships with weapons that could rewrite alien biology and technology that the galaxy had never seen. "Admiral," Dr. Soo-Jin said softly, "I know what you're thinking, but if we reveal ourselves now, Earth might never forgive us. Humans could be destroyed. And if we don't," Ha-Jin replied, "everyone else will be destroyed instead." Minho brought up another screen showing refugee ships trying to escape Vextar attacks. Millions of alien families running for their lives. Children who would never see their homeworlds again. "The Federation Council is meeting an emergency session," he said. "But they have no plan. No hope. They're just waiting to die." Ha-Jin looked at his reflection in the dark window. His weathered face showed 40 years of keeping secrets and watching from the shadows. He thought about his own daughter back on Earth, safe in her school, not knowing that her father was fighting a silent war among the stars. "Sir," Minho said, "the Ghost Fleet is ready. We could make a difference. We could save them." Ha-Jin knew that somewhere in the darkness his 12 ships waited for orders. Ships that could strike without being seen and disappear like phantoms. But using them would mean breaking every rule humanity had followed for centuries. It would mean risking everything. The Admiral stared at the dying stars and made his choice. Captain Dongwoo Choi felt his body become invisible as the special suit activated. Around him, his 4 team members also disappeared from sight. They were standing inside a giant Vextar ship that looked like a living nightmare. The walls were made of bone and flesh that moved and breathed. Strange green slime dripped from the ceiling. 30 seconds to the heart of the ship, whispered Sergeant Yujin Nam into her helmet radio. She was only 24 years old but had already completed 17 dangerous missions without losing a single team member. Her backpack was full of special bombs that could kill the ship from the inside. The team moved through the dark hallways, like ghosts. Their boots made no sound on the wet floor. Their weapons hummed quietly with energy that could destroy alien DNA. For 2 weeks, the Federation had been reporting mysterious saves. Entire Vextar battle groups found floating dead in space. Giant hive ships with their crews killed by unknown weapons. Admiral Ha-Jin Kim had decided to act without permission from Earth. His Ghost Fleet was saving the galaxy one invisible attack at a time. Light years away, Mi Young Seo watched the mission from her control room aboard the stealth ship Silent Thunder. Her fingers danced across glowing buttons and screens. As the fleet's main coordinator, she had planned 19 ghost attacks without letting anyone discover they were human. The Federation still thought mysterious spirits or unknown aliens were helping them. "Phantom Team, be careful," she said into her microphone. "A Federation cruiser called Valor's Light is coming to investigate. They want to know who is saving them." Dongwoo smiled inside his helmet as his team planted the deadly bombs. "Let them search empty space, Control. We'll be gone before they arrive." The center of the Vextar ship was a huge room filled with pulsing green light. In the middle was a massive, brain-like creature with thousands of tentacles reaching throughout the ship. This was the hive mind that controlled everything. Yujin's bombs would cut all those connections and kill the creature instantly. "This thing is disgusting," whispered Private Jinho Lee, the youngest member of the team. He was 19 and still got sick when he saw how the Vextar ships were built from living creatures. "Focus on the mission," Dongwoo ordered. "Remember what these things do to innocent people." The team had seen the reports. The Vextar did not just kill their victims quickly, they kept them alive and slowly turned them into food or building materials for new ships. Entire families were transformed into walls and weapons. Children became part of the ship's computer systems, their minds trapped forever. "Bombs are set," Yujin reported. "Getting out now." The team ran through the twisting hallways as alarms began to sound. The ship's immune system had finally detected the intruders. Antibody creatures began pouring from holes in the walls, shapeless blobs with teeth and claws that tried to catch the invisible humans. "Extraction point in sight," called out Specialist Haejin Park, their escape expert. He had found a weak spot in the ship's hull where their rescue ship could grab them. The human stealth ship Ghost Rider appeared for just 3 seconds, long enough for the team to jump through an airlock. Then it vanished again, leaving no trace it had ever been there. 10 minutes later, the Vextar hive ship began to die. The bombs had worked perfectly, cutting the brain creature's control over the massive vessel. The ship's biological systems shut down one by one as the creature crew died without their controlling mind. "Another perfect mission," Mi Young reported to Admiral Ha-Jin Kim. "The Federation forces are calling it another miracle. They have no idea we were ever there." On the Federation cruiser, Valor's Light, Captain Zerltan stared at his sensors in confusion. His ship had arrived just in time to see the Vextar vessel die, but there was no sign of who had killed it. The energy readings made no sense. The weapons used were unlike anything in Federation databases. "Sir," his science officer reported, "the damage patterns suggest some kind of biological weapon that specifically targets Vextar genetics, but we have no idea who could have built such a thing." Add it to the list of mysteries, Captain Zerltan replied. 17 impossible. Rescues in 2 weeks. Someone is out there helping us, but they don't want to be seen. Back on the Silent Thunder, Dongwu and his team cleaned their weapons and prepared for the next mission. They were tired, but proud. Each successful attack meant thousands of innocent lives saved. How many more ships can we hit before they figure out our pattern? Asked Yujin. Not enough. Dongwu replied grimly. The Vextar are learning. They're starting to adapt to our tactics. Mi Young pulled up the latest intelligence reports on her main screen. The Admiral is right to be worried. Vextar ships are beginning to change their designs. They're adding new defenses we've never seen before. Admiral Ha-Jin Kim's voice came through the ship's speakers. All teams, listen carefully. We're buying time with shadows and tricks, but the enemy is getting smarter. Soon even our miracles won't be enough. We need to prepare for the next phase of the war. The Ghost Fleet continued its invisible war, striking from the darkness and vanishing like dreams. But everyone knew the shadows could not hide them forever. Dr. Yoon Seo Lim touched the small device on her neck that changed her appearance. For 12 years, she had lived as Dr. Vex Aratheln, a scientist from the destroyed planet Zenthar. Her skin looked purple instead of human pink. Her eyes appeared larger and completely black. Even her voice sounded different when she spoke. She walked into the most secret laboratory in Federation space. Research Station Helios was hidden inside an asteroid field, where the galaxy's best scientists studied Vextar biology. Her alien co-workers had no idea they were working with a human spy. The tissue samples from the ghost attacks are very strange, she told her research partner Dr. Krelalan. He was a Hexi alien with 6 arms and compound eyes like a giant insect. The damage looks like a weapon that targets specific genes. What she did not tell him was that she had helped create those weapons back on Earth. Dr. Krelalan's mouth parts clicked together with excitement. The Overmind has ordered us to understand. These phantom attackers, if we can copy their technology, we can use it against them. Yunseo felt cold fear in her stomach. The Vextar Overmind was an ancient intelligence that had eaten 1,000 different worlds. It was starting to notice patterns in the ghost attacks. For months, she had been giving the Federation scientists false information to protect the human fleet. But her time was running out. I have prepared new samples for testing, she said, secretly placing a data chip into the computer. The chip contained fake genetic information that would send the research in the wrong direction. But she knew this might be her last chance to fool them. Far across the galaxy, Captain Jaewon Ryu crawled through narrow air vents inside a captured Federation station. The Vextar had turned the station into a processing center where they converted captured aliens into building materials for their war. These rescue missions were the most dangerous because the Overmind was learning to set traps. Heat readings ahead, reported Corporal Hai Jin Ko through her helmet radio. Looks like survivors in holding tanks. Too easy, Jaewon whispered back. Stay alert, this feels like bait. They were right to be worried. As they moved to save the prisoners, Vextar infiltrator creatures burst from hidden spaces in the walls. These monsters could change their shape to look like any alien species. The ambush had been perfectly planned, but humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. Their reflexes were faster than alien thinking. The team moved together like one organism, each person knowing what the others would do before they did it. Jaewon rolled left and fired his biodisruptor at a creature that looked like a Federation officer. The weapon hit the monster and its fake skin melted away, revealing the horrible truth underneath. Heejin threw a grenade that released poisonous gas designed to kill Vextar biology without harming other aliens. Package secured, Jaewon reported, as they carried the survivors to safety. But Control, they knew we were coming. The Overmind is learning our methods. The rescued aliens were barely alive. The Vextar had been slowly converting them into organic computers. Their skin was partly machine. Their eyes glowed with artificial light. Some of them begged to be killed rather than live as half-monsters. Back on Research Station Helios, Yoon Seo received a secret message through her hidden quantum radio. The message was coded to look like normal space noise, but her implant translated it into human language. What she read made her hands shake. The Ghost Fleet's intelligence had discovered something terrible. The Vextar were not really invaders. They were running away from something even worse. Something at the edge of the galaxy that was still coming toward the core worlds. "Dr. Theln, are you feeling well?" asked Dr. Krellilan. "You look distressed." Yunseo forced herself to smile with her fake alien face. "Just tired from working too long. These samples are very complex." But inside her mind was racing. If the Vextar were refugees, what had they been running from? What could be so terrible that it scared creatures who ate entire civilizations? She accessed her secret files and began copying everything she had learned about Vextar biology. If something worse was coming, humanity would need every piece of information to survive. "The latest reports from the Outer Rim are disturbing," Dr. Krellan continued. "The Vextar seem to be moving faster now, like they are running from something behind them." "What do you think could make them run?" Yunseo asked carefully. "I don't know, but deep space sensors have detected strange signals from beyond the galactic edge. Something massive is out there. Something that makes the Vextar look small." That night, Yunseo sat alone in her fake apartment, staring at the data. The Ghost Fleet had been fighting to save the galaxy from the Vextar, but now she realized they might only be fighting the first wave of something much worse. She composed a coded message to Admiral Ha-Jin Kim. "The real enemy has not arrived yet. We need to prepare for something bigger than anything we have faced. The Vextar are just the beginning." As she sent the message into the darkness of space, Yunseo wondered if 12 years of living as someone else had been worth it. Soon she might have to reveal herself to help fight whatever was coming from the void. The deepest shadow was not the human fleet hiding in darkness. It was the unknown terror approaching from beyond the stars. The fortress world of Aegis burned, under 3 bright suns as the final Vextar attack began. Admiral Thexvar watched his last battle group form defensive lines around the planet. His forearms shook as he realized this was the end. In 12 hours, the most advanced civilization in the galaxy would be completely destroyed. The Vextar had brought everything. Thousands of hive ships filled the space around Aegis like angry hornets. Each ship was the size of a small moon, packed with billions of hungry creatures. The Federation's final fleet looked tiny compared to the massive enemy force. "All stations, report ready for final battle," said Commander Yelnara, her voice calm despite knowing they would all die soon. "We have enough ammunition for maybe 6 hours of fighting." Aboard the hidden human ship Shadow's Promise, Admiral Ha-Jin Kim stared at the encrypted message from Earth Command. The words glowed on his screen like a death sentence. "Operation Ghost Watch is over. Bring all ships home immediately. Keep humanity secret no matter what happens." "Sir?" Lieutenant Minho Park waited for orders. He could see the struggle in his admiral's weathered face. For 40 years, Ha-Jin had followed every command from Earth without question. Ha-Jin thought about all the lives they had saved in secret. He remembered Dr. Yunseo Lim, still hiding among alien scientists, risking her life every day. He thought about Captain Dongwu Choi and his brave teams who had fought impossible battles to protect strangers they would never meet. "Signal all ships," he said quietly. "Drop stealth mode and form battle formation." "Sir?" Mi Young-seo turned from her weapons control station. Her eyes were wide with shock. Earth Command's orders were very clear. "We'll be branded as traitors." "Earth. Command can put me on trial after we save these people," Ha-Jin replied. "Open communication channels to all Federation frequencies." The bridge fell completely silent. Everyone understood what this meant. 12 massive human warships began to appear around Aegis like ghosts becoming real. Their hulls were black as space, covered with weapons that looked like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Across Federation space, millions of aliens watching the battle feeds gasped in amazement. Ships were appearing from nowhere, bearing symbols no one recognized. The mysterious saviors were finally revealing themselves. "This is Admiral Ha-Jin Kim of the Terran Defense Force," he broadcast to every receiver in the system. "We have been watching from the shadows. We are here to help you fight." On the Federation command ship, Admiral Thexvar nearly fell from his chair. Terran, what is Terran? He asked his bridge crew. No one had an answer. Captain J-Wan Ryu smiled as his ship, Silent Thunder, powered up weapons that made Federation technology look like children's toys. Finally, he said to his crew, no more hiding. No more watching good people die while we stay invisible. The human ships moved with perfect coordination, using tactics the aliens had never seen. They did not form traditional battle lines. Instead, they flowed around the Vextar fleet like water, striking weak points and disappearing before the enemy could respond. Dr. Sujin Lee abandoned her secret laboratory and ran to the nearest Federation command center. For years, she had pretended to be a refugee scientist. Now she could finally share her real knowledge. The biodisruptors target Vextar nerve clusters, she explained to stunned alien officers. I can teach you how to build them. We can turn your regular weapons into Vextar killers. The aliens stared at her in confusion. This small creature who looked nothing like any known species was offering to save them with impossible technology. What are you? Asked Commander Yelnara. I am human, Sujin replied with pride. We have been protecting you for decades without you knowing. Today we choose to step into the light. The battle around Aegis became the most important fight in galactic history. Human ships tore through Vextar formations using weapons that rewrote alien biology. The biodisruptors caused hive ships to turn on each other as their control systems were corrupted. But the real advantage was human thinking. For centuries, humans had studied every species in the galaxy from the shadows. They knew how aliens fought, how they planned, how they reacted under pressure. The Vextar had never faced an enemy that understood them so completely. Vextar command ship is breaking formation, reported Mi Young Seo. They're trying to retreat. Not today, Ha-Jin replied. All ships target the queen creature. End this nightmare. The combined human and Federation fleet surrounded the massive Vextar command vessel. Biodisruptor weapons fired simultaneously, targeting the ancient queen that controlled the entire swarm. When she died, every Vextar in the system stopped fighting and began to drift helplessly in space. Silence fell over the battlefield. For the first time in months, no one was dying. The Vextar threat was finally over. Admiral Thexvar opened communication with the human fleet. Admiral Kim, on behalf of the Federation, I thank you. But I must ask, why reveal yourselves now? Why break your secrecy to save us? Ha-Jin looked at his crew, these brave people who had sacrificed everything to protect strangers. Because some things are more important than safety. Today we learned that courage shared is courage multiplied. But even as they celebrated victory, Ha-Jin knew this was only the beginning. Earth would never forgive their actions. Humanity was now exposed to a galaxy that did not know whether to trust them or fear them. 6 months after the Great Battle, at Aegis, Ha-Jin Kim stood in the observation deck of New Geneva Station. This was humanity's first official embassy in Federation space. Through the large windows, he could see ships from dozens of different alien species docked next to human vessels. Former enemies now worked together to rebuild what the Vextar had destroyed. The Earth Assembly has made their decision, reported Minho Park, now wearing the uniform of a captain. You are officially a criminal. They want you arrested and brought back to Earth for trial. Ha-Jin smiled sadly but was not surprised. What did the Federation say about that? Chancellor Vex Thrun gave you complete protection yesterday. He said saving 3 billion lives means Earth cannot touch you here. Dr. Unseo Lim entered the room, finally able to show her real human face after 12 years of disguise. She carried a tablet full of joint research projects where human and alien scientists worked together to understand new threats from deep space. The long-range sensors have found them, she reported with worry in her voice. The entities that the Vextar were running from, it's enormous. A collective mind that makes the Vextar overmind look like a small child. They will arrive in 18 months. Dongwu Choi looked up from his military reports. He now commanded the Joint Human Federation Special Forces, training alien soldiers in human fighting techniques. We are not the same species that hid in shadows, he said. Neither are they. This alliance is making everyone stronger. Dr. Sujin Lee nodded from her seat at the Science Council table. The biodisruptor weapons have been adapted for 47 different alien body types. The neural link communication systems are being built into Federation command ships. We are not just sharing weapons, we are sharing how we think. Mi-young Seo entered with the latest reports from the cleanup operations. As coordinator of all joint missions, she had watched human and alien forces learn to work together. The operations in former Vextar space are going better than expected. More importantly, we are finding survivors, entire populations that the Overmind kept alive for processing, species we thought were completely extinct. Admiral Kim thought about the cost of revealing humanity to the galaxy. Earth's government considered him a traitor. Humanity was now exposed to aliens who did not know whether to thank them or fear them. But the alternative had been watching civilizations die while hiding in comfortable darkness. What about the refugee situation? He asked. 17 worlds have offered to host human colonies, Minho replied. Earth will not take back the people who helped aliens, but our new allies will give us homes. We are not homeless. We have 17 new planets to live on. Through the window, Kim watched a human teacher showing alien children basic fighting tactics while alien engineers shared their advanced technology with human mechanics. The future would not be human or alien. It would be something completely new, created by working together. When the entity from beyond arrives, it will find us ready, he said quietly. Not as separate species fighting alone, but as one united civilization that is worth the price of stepping into the light. Jae-won-ryu smiled as he watched human and alien children playing together in the station's recreation areas. The shadows kept us safe for centuries, he said. But the light is where we learn to truly live. In the medical bay, human doctors worked alongside alien healers to treat Vextar survivors. Many of the rescued beings were part machine, their bodies changed by the conversion process. But human medical technology combined with alien healing methods was slowly returning them to normal. The psychological damage is the hardest part, explained Dr. Hai-Jin Ko, who had become the station's chief counselor. These people lived as prisoners inside their own transformed bodies. Teaching them to be themselves again takes time. Young Jin-Ho Lee, now a lieutenant, ran training exercises where human and alien soldiers learned to fight as mixed units. The aliens think differently than we do, he reported to his commanders. But that makes us stronger. When humans plan the tactics and aliens provide the technology, we can beat anything. The communication center received daily messages from Earth demanding the return of the rogue fleet. Earth's leaders were angry that humanity's secret was revealed without permission. They threatened to declare the embassy and its defenders as criminals who had abandoned their home world. Let them threaten, Ha-Jin said when he read the latest angry message. These people chose to save lives over following orders. History will remember them as heroes, not criminals. Yunseo pulled up a star map showing the approaching threat from beyond the galaxy. The entity is still 18 months away, but we can already see its effects. Stars are going dark. Entire solar systems are disappearing. Then we have 18 months to prepare, Ha-Jin replied. 18 months to turn this alliance into the strongest force the galaxy has ever seen. Outside the station, construction, ships from dozens of species worked together to build new defensive platforms. Human stealth technology was being combined with alien shield generators and energy weapons. The galaxy was becoming a fortress, protected by species who had learned to trust each other. The shadows were our protection, Ha-Jin said as he watched the construction. But unity is our strength. Whatever comes from the darkness will face the light of a million worlds standing together. The price of revealing humanity had been exile from Earth. But the reward was something greater than any single world could offer, a family of species united against the unknown.